Before I kick off this video, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that if I could get the captaincy right every single game week, I'd be in the bookies putting bets on all the time and I'd practically have an infinite money glitch. I'd have more money than Elon Musk. Whilst I changed the outcome last game week, I wouldn't change the decision making process. Palmer hit the crossbar, he hit the post, and he had an assist ruled offside. On another day, he would have won. Either way, I understand that everyone's got a different viewpoint on it, so if you want to interpret my data differently and go down a different route, that's completely fine. Whilst we'll probably captain Salah most game weeks, it doesn't need to be one or the other. I do think there'll be good opportunities to go against him. I don't agree with perma-captain. I do think it's good to keep an open mind when the fixtures come easier for other players that have a high ceiling. It worked with Haaland perma-captain, and I think in the long run it will work with Salah perma-captain as well. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to those of you that are standing by me after last game week. Those of you that have been here long enough will understand that there will be bumps in the road, but it will be worth driving down this road. And if you're new around here, just give it enough time, have enough patience, and I will improve your captaincy record. Before I start dwelling on the past, onwards and upwards. First up on the shortlist yet again is none other than Mo Salah. He faces United. Haaland faces who Salah faced last game week, which is West Ham. We've seen that that's an easy fixture. And Watkins has got the easiest fixture on the shortlist against Leicester. All three players have got the home advantage. Salah's the only midfielder on the shortlist, and that does play to his advantage in the statistics. He gets an extra point for every goal scored, and in the calculations he gets an extra point for the XG as well. Nevertheless, his weighting is very important from an FPL perspective. Haaland was very close to Salah last season, and now he's close to Watkins. There's been a massive drop off since Rodri's been absent. The only player that's got a large sample size of data that's close to Salah is Palmer, and he's still a little bit off as well. This is the first time in quite a while that we've got a player that's not nailed on pens on the shortlist. Salah and Haaland are of course nailed on pens for their respective clubs, but Watkins isn't. He's more likely to take one than not, so it's slightly better than a coin toss. Neither him or Salah take free kicks or corners. Haaland takes the occasional direct free kick. That does depend who's on the pitch, and it's not much to shout about because it's not often. It's the Norwegian former robot that's got the highest anytime goal score odds this game week. That's with him being a forward, but he does get competition from Watkins being a forward this game week. Salah's a midfielder, so we can expect more creativity there, but it's Haaland who's got the highest anytime return odds. He's got the best chance of returning, therefore the lowest chance of blanking, and I know that Salah gets the additional point for every goal scored, but he has got a higher chance of blanking this game week, therefore I think Haaland's got the best odds. I do think with the point scoring system though that there's only a fraction between him and Salah. I do like the fact that Haaland's odds are weighted more towards goals though. There's only a fraction between them on the FPL review points projections. That's a 0.2 difference. Salah takes the lead with 8, but there's quite a bit between them on fantasy football fix. Salah's ahead by 0.6 on 8.6. Therefore Salah's got the best points projections this game week. Whilst his opponents United haven't had the best of defences recently, neither have Haaland's and Watkins' opponents West Ham and Leicester. When we consider a large enough sample size of data, which is the whole season, Leicester have had by far the worst defence on the shortlist, then West Ham, and then United's I'd probably say is quite average for the whole league. Leicester are right the way down there for the expected numbers. They're not quite the worst, but they're the joint worst on goals conceded per 90 minutes. And it doesn't help that Hermansson's been out recently, and whilst this video's been recorded, it looks like he's still going to be sidelined. At the same time, Fabianski might be ruled out for West Ham whilst this video's being recorded, and if he is, that would benefit Haaland. Fabianski and Hermansson are actually the top two for positive on post-shot XG. That means they've kept out a lot more goals than expected, and those two goalkeepers would be losses like they have been recently. Before we conclude, we're going to carry out a quick risk assessment. All three players on the shortlist are currently 90-minute men. Watkins wasn't until Duran got injured, and they've all had an ample amount of rest. So all three players on the shortlist are expected to play roughly the full match. Now it's time to make a decision. I think Watkins is comfortably in third place. He's practically the worst across the board. If he was nailed on penalty duties, I do think it would be a different story, especially with his fixture against Leicester, but that's not the case, so I think it's between the other two players. As for the other two, a lot of people pointed out last game week how easy of a fixture West Ham is, and Haaland faces them this game week. I do expect him to explode at some point. That could be this game week. Now we need to make a cocktail of the player and the opponent that they're facing. Now Salah's the much better player this season, but Haaland's got the easier fixture. When we merge them both together, I'm not doing this out of pure fear. I'm not being reactive, and one day I will go against Salah again, but I do think he's a lot more reliable than Haaland this season, so I do think he's a better captain. I'm doing a double upload today with my team selection video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.